Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Super League Round 5 Power Rankings. Now, I must warn you before I get started, there are a lot of changes this week. There are only 2 non-movers, and a lot of big changes in the top half of this list. But as always, if you guys have your own order and how things should look, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know your opinions on placements, and also answer the Rugby League fan question that I pinned to the comments down below as well. But let's get started with the Round 5 Power Rankings. So I'm going to do this a little bit differently. I'm going to fly through all the teams, and if I have any comments on any of the teams, I will let you know after I've gone through the list. But starting in 12th place and moving down 1 this week, I have the Castleford Tigers. Above them in 11th place, but also moving down 1 this week, I have the Huddersfield Giants. In 10th place, moving up 2, a team that has finally moved off the bottom spot, I have the Salford Red Devils. Moving a step up from them, I have one of the non-movers this week in the Catalans Dragons, who sit in 9th place. Then above them, the other non-mover this week in Warrington Wolves, who sit in 8th. Then we move on to an interesting section of 7th, 6th, 5th and 4th place. Now, I'm confident with the teams being in this section, but I know there will be some disagreements about the order. So let's take a look. Starting with 7th place and moving down 2 this week, I have Wakefield Trinity. I know some people will be disagreeing with that one, but I will try and justify it when possible. But above them in 6th place, moving down 3, I have the Leigh Leopards. Above them in 5th, who've gained 1 place, Leeds Rhinos, which means in 4th place, moving up 3 places, I have Hull FC. But moving on to the top 3 now. There has been some discussions in the comments over the last few weeks about where teams should be. I think people will mostly agree with the list on this one. So in 3rd place, moving down 1, I have St Helens. In 2nd place, drumroll please, Wigan Warriors moving down 1. Which means in 1st place, for the first time this season, moving up 3, I have Hull, Kingston, Rovers. So I think the biggest questions that will come from this list will be in that pack of 4 that I mentioned before, from 7th to 4th place, with Wakefield, Leigh, Leeds and Hull FC. I think there is a clear bottom 3, so Castleford, Huddersfield and Salford I think clearly sit in the bottom 3. I think just above them, Catalans and Warrington are in a weird spot right now. I think they can compete with a lot of teams in that next group of 4, but they're teams that kind of need to prove it. So I think we know how strong they can be, but it's about proving it over a longer period of time. That's their kind of goal right now. But moving on to that next group of 4, where I know there are going to be some disagreements. I just know there are. Now, Wakefield in 7th place, moving down 2, does seem a little bit harsh. I understand that, but I just can't have them ahead of Leigh. I think Leeds have earned a place above them with their recent performances, and especially Hull FC as well. I think people still aren't quite ready to give them enough credit, but I think they've proven against decent opponents that they are worth 4th place. Now, one of the justifications I have for it is, if I'm doing predictions with these matchups, who am I taking? So if it's Leigh versus Wakefield, I'm taking Leigh. If it's Leeds versus Leigh, I'm taking Leeds. If it's Hull FC versus Leeds, I'm taking Hull FC. That's assuming that all regulars are available and there aren't major injuries affecting those predictions. But I know there will be disagreements. If you guys have a different order, of course, let me know. But let's move on to the top 3. So looking at the top 3, St Helens moving down 1 this week might seem a little bit harsh to some, given that they were the better team against Warrington. But I think the fact that they couldn't really put up many points, they only put up 12 points, and they had so many opportunities to put up points this week against Warrington, and they just didn't, is the main reason why they've moved down 1. And they also need to make way for another team that's moved up in this list. But on to 2nd place, Wigan Warriors. Their performance against Leeds was pretty lacklustre. I think without Jay Field, they lost a lot of sting in possession. Bevan French wasn't really involved in the game. The forwards couldn't dominate as they normally do. And of course, they're another team that needs to make way for somebody else. But to finish off with 1st place, Hull Kingston Rovers moving up 3 this week. I just needed 1 more week, maybe 2 at most, depending on how things went, just to be sure that I can move them up to 1st place. Because with St Helens still in there, Wigan Warriors still near the top as well. Just had to be sure, and given the fact that both of those teams lost, Wigan didn't put in the best display that they've ever put in, and Hull Kingston Rovers was so convincing against a decent side like Leigh, I feel very confident to put Hull Kingston Rovers to the top of the power rankings. But there you have my Super League Round 5 power rankings. As always, if you have your own list, do let me know in the comments down below, and check out the Rugby League fan question that I've pinned to the comments as well. But if you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. It does help to get the video out there to more people. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with more Rugby League content, and check out the Kinetic Rugby League website and store in the description down below. But that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.